Peace. This is Waz for Wazwords Media, back at y'all for another round. And Knicks fans, this one goes out to all of you that said we need a new coach. Tom Thibodeau gotta go. He's too hard on the players. This one goes out to Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges and every other Knicks player that complained about working too hard for Tom Thibodeau. First of all, you're playing basketball, a sport that you love, that you grew up playing for decades at this point. What is so hard about putting extra effort in? What is so hard about that? Why do you have grown-ass men complaining and crying that he coaches too hard, he pushes us too much? Now listen, playing a player over 40-something minutes a game on a regular night in, night out basis, that I understand. But that was on the front office to tell that man, like, listen, you can't burn these guys out like that. We need you to scale it back. That's also on the front office to get some decent backup players, bench players, that will make him feel a little comfortable putting Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson and OG and these guys on the bench for a little longer. But what you have now, that loss yesterday against the Dallas Mavericks, a Cooper flagless Dallas Mavericks, when you have a loss like that with no Antonio Davis to the Dallas Mavericks, and you don't even crack 100 points, that is all effort. And you know under whose watch that would have never happened? Oh yeah, that's right. Under none other than Tom Thibodeau. The Knicks would have never come out on Martin Luther King Day. Martin Luther King Day. Listen, there's certain traditions in sports, right? Just like you got the Cowboys, they play every Thanksgiving. You got the Detroit Lions play every Thanksgiving. The New York Knicks, their tradition is the MLK game. They play every single Martin Luther King Day at the Garden in Madison Square. That is a traditional game, and they came out there flat. And when they asked Jalen Brunson what happened, oh, we just didn't show up. You just didn't show up? What the f do you mean you didn't just show up? You's a grown man, and you talking about you didn't show up? What the f do you mean you didn't show up? That's effort. And you know where effort comes from? It comes from one, within, and two, it comes from the coach. Accountability. If you got a coach that's not going to hold you accountable, guess what happens? You come out flat. You come out with the other team wanting it more. All these silly quotes that you hearing from grown men. Get out of here, man. Y'all lost 9 out of 11 games. 9 out of 11 games. At that point, you know, y'all lost, what? It was 8 out of 10 games. And you still don't have a sense of urgency. They wanted more. Listen, the New York Knicks have a small window to get this job done. Because we see teams that are young, they're growing, and now, with this Tom Thibodeau-less team, we are starting to see there's a blueprint. There's a scouting report out for the New York Knicks. The scouting report, slow it down, play the irony. Make it a half-court East Coast basketball game. Half-court, slowed down, physical. You play East Coast basketball against the New York Knicks, you're going to bludgeon them the same exact way the Detroit Pistons did the other night. You're going to bludgeon them the same way the Dallas Mavericks did just yesterday. If the New York Knicks are in a first-round matchup with a team that is physical, not scared of the moment, the New York Knicks are in a lot of trouble. They're in a lot of trouble. I wasn't panicking. I was not panicking until yesterday. Now, oh, yeah, I done hit that panic button. Now, after yesterday, but what I don't want to hear from none of you Knicks fans that wanted Tom Thibodeau out. I did not want Tom Thibodeau out. As I stated earlier in this video, I thought they should talk to Tom Thibodeau. That was up to the front office to have a serious sit down with him and tell him, listen, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, you know what I'm saying? If you don't start, giving certain players some rest, they're complaining. Playing 45 minutes a game, only 3 minutes of rest. If you don't start giving some of these players some rest, and these players continue to complain, then we may have to do something. But they didn't even give them that opportunity. They straight axed them. So my thing is, the New York Knicks were in such a rush to get somebody else in here. But look where we're at now. This would have never, ever, ever happened under Tom Thibodeau. And all you Knicks fans and all of you players, yo, shame on all of you. On all of you. On Cat, on MLK Bridges, and whoever else was complaining about Thibs. The only one that I know for a fact that did not complain about Thibs is Jalen Brunson. It's the only one. All you other dudes, and Jalen Brunson, stop wearing those low-top sneakers. A big reason of why we lost is because of those goddamn low-top sneakers. Stop wearing low-top sneakers. This ain't a fashion show. This is basketball. Stop trying to look cute. This ain't about looking cute on the court. Put those Kobe's away. Stop wearing low tops. But Jalen Brunson's the only one that I feel did not complain about Tom Thibodeau. Everybody else in that room is suspect. But the two that I know for a fact that complained were Karl-Anthony Towns and MLK Bridges. And I don't want to hear no complaints from Towns. Towns, you better not be complaining, because you've been having problems. You've been having static with this dude since Minnesota. I know you was one of them. So you had problems with him. Now you complaining about this system. Maybe it's you. We need some of that young Karl-Anthony Towns from that footage that been floating around when you dunked it on Nikola Jokic when y'all were young. We need that Karl-Anthony Towns back. Because this one ain't getting it done. And I think the number one player, that's the most important player for the Knicks to win a championship, is Karl-Anthony Towns. Depending on which Karl-Anthony Towns we get in the playoffs is the Karl-Anthony Towns. It holds the fate of the Knicks. Can we make it to the mountaintop? All depends, because we know what Brunson's going to bring. We know what Josh Hart's going to do. He going to give you hustle. He going to give you his all on both ends of the court. We know what OG's going to do. What is Karl-Anthony Towns? Which Towns is going to show up? And that right there will be the biggest factor if the Knicks will succeed. But I don't want to hear no more Knicks fans talking about, oh, the coach. I don't want to hear talk about no coach. This is what y'all wanted. Y'all wanted this. You wanted a change in the regime. You wanted a change at the helm. You wanted a new coach. I don't want to hear no complaints about the coach now. Because Tom Thibodeau was not the problem. Thibs was not the problem. So I don't want to hear none of y'all. I don't want to hear no player, no fans, nobody talking about the coach. Because y'all wanted this. Losing 9 of 11 because of effort, because of accountability. Y'all wanted this. I don't want to hear anything about coaching. Y'all wanted this. Y'all did this to yourselves.